Hello, so this is just a quick introduction to Ma-kun and his cage. So for those of you who know, very unfortunately, my previous pet Pikachu passed away a few months ago. Um, so obviously I didn't go out and buy a new pet right away, but now that a couple months have passed, I decided to. So the cage has been refurbished a bit here. Basically, most of the stuff in there has been tossed out and replaced. Some stuff's been repurposed from elsewhere. So um, first we have this water bottle. This is a glass bottle so that, basically he can't chew it. Unfortunately, this bottom part is plastic, but I haven't had a problem in the past with that being chewed, and doesn't seem that Ma-kun is interested in chewing it either. This one is a plastic bottle, but it's covered with this bottle cover. And this is another glass bottle. Either way, the tips are metal. This is the tag from the store. It says Ma-kun, and it has his birthday, so he's about 5 years old, which honestly is the age Pikachu would have been had he lived a few days longer. This here is just to stop stuff from flying out of the cage. I had that there before and I've left it. If we take a look inside, you can see this is marble, basically stone. In case he gets hot, he can cool off. So I've had this since before. You can see it's a little chewed. Inside of this can go those cool packs, the ice packs like you put in your cooler, so that can help him stay cool. This is just a water absorbent pad to put inside his carrier if I take him somewhere. Yeah, he's very interested in the camera here. So this is also leftover from before because it wasn't chewed too badly. Ma-kun prefers to sit on it most of the time instead of in it, but hey, he's making a lot of presents here right now. This is also leftover from before, but I do plan to replace this with a soft hammock type thing soon. This is pretty new. He's been chewing on it a lot in the past day or so, obviously. And most all of these shelves and everything are new. Like, I know you look at it and it looks pretty torn up, but he's a very voracious chewer. So the shop recommended, because he's usually been living in the cage all the time and he's only been let out occasionally, that he shouldn't have to jump very high. So you can see I have these arranged so that this is low and then a little bit higher and then a little bit higher, like that, so that he can jump up a little at a time. So basically that's how it's set up. So he can easily run across and down if he wants to. Here's another little stone. This is actually from some kind of grill, but anyway, it serves the same purpose. You can see over here is his toilet, and there is a hay feeder, so it looks like he's been eating some of that hay, or at least moving it around. Little hidey spot, and this soft little mat. So basically the ground here is just cardboard, and the reason for that is when it gets dirty I can just take it out and throw it away. And also from my previous experience, if you use something soft, they'll tend to pee everywhere on that, whereas if you don't, then they'll tend to pee in the toilet. So over here is the food, and here's another water feeder. So this I actually bought before, but Pikachu would knock it over every day, and it was just a mess, so I didn't use it. Ma-kun is a lot more, adult, in the sense that he's not crazy hyper knocking stuff over, at least not yet. So I've added these wooden bars kind of thing to give him something to chew on here, as well as this little hay grid in the back. There's kind of dual purpose. One is to keep him from chewing on stuff, and another is to keep as much stuff from flying out of the cage. A couple toys and stuff he's been chewing on a little bit. So there's this heater here, but it's pretty much summertime now, so that's not in use. Another good thing about these shelves is it's pretty easy to move them around if need be. And most of these shelves that I'm using, they actually have wooden screws so that you know, there's nothing metal to bite on and hurt your teeth or anything like this. So let's move down to the bottom level here. He actually doesn't go down to the bottom level very much, but we have another water bottle just for backup. And then if we open this cage up a bit, and there he goes, escaping. Yeah. So here we have the same kind of layout. There's several different you know, shelves here, so he can go down little by little, and in fact one on this door here, so that he can kind of hop all the way down without having to jump too far. It's a bit laughable because, you know, Pikachu would happily jump 2 meters up in the air, so to put these little steps, you know, it seems silly, but the reality is Ma-kun here, he's lived in, you know, in a small cage for most of his life, so he doesn't know how high he can jump. Like Pikachu would run up and down the stairs very quickly. When I put Ma-kun on the staircase, you know, he climbs it very, very slowly, and when he looks down, he feels scared, so he doesn't go running down the stairs at all. So it's very easy to keep him in one room or even in one place. Like if I put him on the sofa, he'll just stay on the sofa. He definitely won't jump down. I think that'll probably change over time if I let him exercise outside of the cage. Okay, so I also got this kind of wooden floor. This is very interesting because I know, of course, you can just lay it here as a floor, and I'm thinking to get more of them and put down below. But it also has screw holes in it so that you can actually attach it. So like if I didn't have this metal shelf here, I could just attach this instead of a metal shelf. So I think it is pretty interesting, pretty neat design. For downstairs here, I usually don't use any kind of litter or, you know, wood shavings or anything, but you know, occasionally I've tried this paper litter. This is just made from recycled newspaper, so there's nothing too toxic in it or anything like that. But you know, over time, if you were to pee on this a lot, it gets dirty and nasty, and you need to clean it out to prevent it from getting like moldy or whatever. Whereas if you just leave bare metal, it's easy to clean. You just spray it and wipe it. And if you have cardboard, then you just take the cardboard up, and then that's easy as well. So, you know, I'm going to try it for a little while, let him try and dig in it and see how he likes it, but I may or may not continue that experiment. Okay, so this wheel is here from before. So it took Pikachu about 2 weeks to learn how to use this wheel, and Ma-kun may never learn how to use it. So he's climbed on it a few times, and it rotates and throws him off, and then, you know, he runs away from it. And like I said, he doesn't like to go down in the bottom part of the cage much to begin with. So yeah, that's about what there is about the cage. So about Ma-kun himself. So as mentioned, he is about 5 years old, and he's a very how to say, very calm and collected for a chinchilla. Like the pet shop that we got him from, they have one that is even more calm than he is, and they said that one and its parents are, you know, almost like some different breed of animal. And then number 2 is Ma-kun here. So Ma-kun, I mean, I let him go on the sofa, and he just sits there for 2 hours while we're, you know, I'm cooking in the kitchen, banging pots and pans. He doesn't care. He just sleeps like a cat. Or, you know, he'll walk here and there. He really is not very hyper. He doesn't tend to run around a lot. You know, it's one interesting thing is he doesn't like if you touch his face. See, but he doesn't mind if you touch other parts of him. You know, he likes it, or he'll be interested, whatever. So again, he's very calm and collected, and kind of maybe lazy. I don't know if he's lazy or just calm and collected, but yeah, you know, sometimes he'll move around a little bit quicker, but he doesn't jump much, and he doesn't really speed off anywhere in a hurry much of the time. So what you just saw him move up and down, that's probably about as fast as he's moving most of the time. So I mean, again, I think it's because he spent most of his life in a cage, probably half this size, and they did let him out to exercise every day, but the room they let him in didn't have many obstacles. It's just an open room. So yeah, I think, if I let him out in the living room sometimes or whatever, he'll probably get a little exercise and slowly improve his physical ability. So it's hard to see, but his color is actually called gold bar. So it's mostly white, but there is a little bit of gold color running down his back and even on his face. So other than that, he's white, basically speaking. You can see there's a little black mark in his ear there. Other than that, he's perfectly white with a little gold. So he is 5 years old, so the normal life expectancy is probably 20 to 25 years if you're lucky, maybe 10 to 15 if you get sick somehow, but hopefully, because he's already made it to 5 years old, he probably doesn't have most of the genetic illnesses that affect some other chinchillas like Pikachu. So I think my number one priority is just going to be keeping him healthy. So I want to get him a little more exercise than he's had in the past. I want to make sure he's got plenty of wood stuff to chew on, keep his teeth healthy, make sure he eats plenty of hay, monitor his weight pretty closely, and stuff like that. So one interesting thing is that the food that I normally feed Pikachu before is this Oxbow Essentials. This is pretty highly rated internationally, although you don't see it in Japan much. The pet store that I got him from actually gave me this Brighton chinchilla food, so I don't think I've ever seen this in Japan. I think they just import it entirely. So mostly he should be eating hay instead of food anyway, but I will try to mix together these and some other different foods where I can. I'm going to avoid giving him so many treats or anything like that. One interesting thing I found is that this Nyosankin, I'm not sure what you call in English, but like kind of yogurt drops, I guess. This was something that Pikachu absolutely loved, and Ma-kun actually has very little interest in these. So if I take one of these and give it to him, I'm not even sure if he'll actually eat it. Yeah, see, he's just like, what's that? I don't need it. So, it's amazing how different, it's two animals of the same species, but how different they are, I mean, obviously their attitude towards me is different because one I've raised for 5 years and the other one has only known me for, a week. But, just their reaction to sounds, or their reaction, what they like to eat, or how far they're willing to jump. I mean, all kinds of things. He's just totally different character here. So, hopefully, I think it will be enjoyable for him to live here, and I'm sure it'll be challenging and rewarding for me. But at the same time, it's definitely very interesting to see, what kind of different characters you can have, even in such a little small animal where you think maybe, oh, they're all the same, but they're definitely not. They definitely have a personality. So I want to welcome Ma-kun to my family, and I hope he will be healthy and happy, and I will post an update at some point to let everyone know how he's doing. Oh, he's also a little bit of a fatty. He's about 600 grams, so that's pretty much on the high end for a male chinchilla. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Some of the products I've shown here, like these drawers, are mainly sold by Japanese companies, so they might not be exactly the same thing available overseas. But if you have any questions or interest, just let me know. Bye.